Hey, good morning. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Construction Secrets with me, David Windsor. As always, you can go over to davidwindsor.com to get your free downloadable templates. All I ask in exchange is that you like, subscribe, and share this YouTube channel with your friends. For those of you that don't know, I'm a general contractor here in Park City, Utah. We're building luxury ski towns in this beautiful town, and we've been in business for 18 months. And in those short 18 months, we've accumulated $15 million worth of work. So we're growing, and my purpose of this channel is just kind of share the things and document the processes that we're doing with inside of our company that helped us get to this point, and hopefully it can help you along the way with your construction journey. So I come from the commercial world. I worked for a multi-billion-dollar company for a couple of years, and the one thing I learned from these individuals is how to coordinate things, how to map things out, how to get outside the box with your thinking and your communication and allow individuals to understand what's going on and trying to come up with a different way of doing things. Because one, at the company I used to work for, safety was a big issue. Safety was number one. And two, like site logistics was big. And so when you work on a tight site, and I was fortunate enough to be at a tight site when I worked for this company, so I understood the on-time deliveries, how to make things happen, how to allow the subcontractors to move forward in their day and their job and not be impeded so much by the constrictions of the job site. So that being said, we're building we're building a house, two houses up at a job site. This job site is called King's Crown. It's super congested, and it's right now we're going for final CO. So we're almost done with the houses per se, but we'll be there for a while. It's just one of those things where they decided to build 30 houses on the same road at the same time, and the city approved all of it. And it's a 2-lane little mountain road. And if one person parks on the road, it now becomes a 1-lane, and you got 1 lane and someone delivers with a truck and the whole road is shut down. It's just been an absolute shit show up there, and the city's been really cracking down. So we have 2 parking spots. That's it. 2 parking spots to build 2 houses. We get literally 2 cars to build 2 houses. So for those of you that are in construction, you know that there's some days you pull up to your job site and there's 10 guys working, and they're cranking, and there's a bunch of cars. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the production. You want to see that kind of thing. And when you pull up to our job site at this particular location, there's 2 cars parked in the driveway. And before we had the driveways poured and all that stuff, it was even worse. So it's been a logistical challenge. And so we're almost at the CO stage, but I want to take you back about a year ago to when we were in the digging stage and some of the things we had to do, not only for safety, but for just logistics, how we had to think outside the box to get this job done in an efficient way. And here's what I'm coming at you with. So this is the road up at King's Crown, and so all these houses are being built. And so to give it perspective, this is one house. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 houses being built in this hole. So in this one little hole, there's 4 houses. So this is one of our houses right here. So let me just do this for you. We got 1 house right here. That's 1 house. And then we got 1 house. That's how tight these are. So these houses are about 2,000 square feet each. So that being said, as you can see, this is a 30-foot hole from the road down to here. I mean, this excavator is what, 9 feet tall or something like that when you stand at these tracks. And so that thing's 9 feet tall and it comes up to here. And then each one of these is like so that's 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet. So we're 30 feet down. It's a big thing. And our neighbors, so right here, so this is where our property ends, and our neighbors are up higher. Their footings stand up higher than ours because the road slopes, so they're allowed to have their house higher up on the elevation as far as the overall height per city code. So you can see how they're accessing this hole. They're climbing down a ladder for 30 feet. I mean, look how extended that thing is. And, this is a sketchy hole, and this thing's not really stabilized. And so their guys are climbing down a ladder. It was getting really scary. And why, we just decided we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to be a part of the ladder system to form these walls. These are 25-foot tall concrete walls that we had to build. And so we did our research and we tried to find a scaffolding company. And so I sent a scaffolding company a couple options. I said, 1, we're going to build a tower with scaffolding and stairs, 25 feet tall, with the step at different elevations. So there would be literally a step right here, in the scaffolding that would allow us to set on these guys' things. Step is 10 feet taller than the bottom level. So this, just for your perspective, this is 10 feet tall. So that shows you how tall this entire hole is, if that's 10 feet tall. So that was the one idea that we had. Then we came at them with the second idea was, I guess I don't have the second idea right now. So then the other idea was we build a continuous staircase with railing down to the hole. So, we start at the top, and then there's a staircase that goes all the way down to the bottom of the hole. This is the option we ended up going with. And so the way it worked is we had to sit, these guys had to come down and we had to logistically map it out. And the widest they could get, the narrowest they could get the scaffolding feet that were there was 4 feet. 4 feet was the narrowest we could get. And that being said, these houses are 3 feet apart. So we're going 4 feet, but we only have 3 feet to work with. However, that's the house, but then the footings came out a certain amount. So we did all this mapping. We actually got it surveyed. We got everyone out there. We mapped this entire thing out, and we discovered that the footings for both houses were inside the footprint of where the scaffolding needed to go by 1 inch. So each house, the footing was 1 inch, too big. And so we went back to the engineer and asked him if we could shrink the footings 1 inch to make this happen. So we literally set the scaffolding down, and then the footing forms, I don't know how I can do this right here, but the footing forms were like this close to the scaffolding. It was really hard for those guys to get in there and do it, but it was literally the only way we could access the hole. We couldn't get anybody else down the hole. So we had 20 people working down there, and they needed a safe way down. We couldn't be going up and down the ladder like these guys were over here. So this was our solution. And so the engineer approved us to do that. And so we were able to build this staircase, and let me show you the staircase later in the stage. So that's the 25-foot tall wall we're talking about there. So, this concrete wall is 25 feet tall. So we were able to, look at this. So if you look here, you can see how close the scaffolding is to these footings. It's a sort of strip these footings and do all the stuff. It was intense. And so, so we had the scaffolding stair that went down, and I got to be honest, it was a beautiful idea. It was a safe way to get people down this place and figure it out. So we installed this scaffolding, and then when we decided to backfill, we decided that we needed a backfill, and we needed to keep the scaffolding there. So we asked if we could remove these portions of the stairs, and we could kicker off both sides of the foundation wall. See next photo. This is a question to the engineer. So we literally were talking about kickering off, to the sides of these foundation walls right here and holding the scaffolding up that way rather than having all these towers. That ended up not working. So we ended up having to pull all the scaffolding and saying, you know what, we just can't get into this hole for a while until we backfill. So you can see how tight it was, but these are the logistics that we had to go through on this particular site to get all this stuff done. And so we wanted to make it safe. 2, we wanted to make it efficient. And 3, we had to make it work. We had to get down the hole to work, and we didn't want to be climbing up and down ladders. So we used this staircase as our option. And you can see how tight and congested it is. Just to get the rebar and all that stuff down there, there's no lay down area. So we had to fly everything in with a crane and do it the hard way. And we're just, I'm just proud of our team and us for what we came up with in this situation and how we were able to get this done. And so you got to be resilient. You got to come up with different ways. You got to figure out different things that you can do with inside your job sites to make it happen. We had a dispute where we had to, I'll have to show you another photo, but we had to crane someone in a man basket to install a portion of the soffit and fascia. Normally you do that on ladders, but we had to crane this guy in between 2 houses, and we had this much room to work with. And we came up the eave of the roof, and we dropped him straight down. And he installed the fascia and soffit that way. And so you gotta think outside the box. You got to get creative, and you got to communicate with individuals, that are helping work with you and showing them, and just, coming up with a little kid drawing and say, this is what I'm thinking, making a staircase all the way down here. And how can we make that happen? And you got to go to the engineers, and, the engineers, and then everyone's like, oh, the footings are too big, this, that. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be confusion. There's going to be things in the way, and you got to just step up and make sure that you don't allow that stuff to get in the way of your production. And let's call it your creativity. You got to get creative in the way you build these houses, because not everything's the same. We're dealing with Mother Nature, and this has been a real logistical challenge for us. Like I said, we get 2 parking spots. So half of our day is shuttling people to a parking lot near our office, which is about 2 miles from the job site. And then, these guys get up there and they call me a half an hour later and say, hey, we forgot the drill. So we got to go pick them up. So they come back to their truck to get their drill. And then the next guy's like, oh, I forgot my electrical wire. It's a constant logistical battle. And we're never going to build in this section of town again, because it's not worth it. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the headache. But what it is worth, and you got to see the green, the silver lining and everything, what it is worth is the fact that we are doing things like this. We are coming up with logistical challenges, and we're solving these problems. We're figuring out how to do it, and it's making us resilient. People on the street were like, wow, what a great idea. And they copied that idea, and they should copy that idea. And so it allowed us to like sit down and think about how we're going to get a delivery, how we're going to, install the soffit and fascia, how we're going to park people, and how the hell are we going to get just people down in the hole so they can actually perform the work. And this is what we came up with. So this job has given us a lot of resilience, and it's given us a lot of open-mindedness to the creativity and the opportunities that can be opened up to you in construction if you actually just sit down and take the time to think about it and come up with logistical challenges like that. So, for a while there was a tower crane over here, and we put our dumpster down here in the hole, and this tower crane would pick it up and drop it off, and it was this logistical thing. And so we had to get creative in multiple ways to frame this house, to fly the steel in, to form the concrete. So it's been a challenge, and it's been exciting, and I wouldn't change it for the world, but we're excited to get out of this place. That's for damn sure. So just get creative, get resilient. If there's something facing your job sites, don't allow it to stop you. Like, just kind of come up with ways, like sit down with the drawing and take a photo and draw, like figure stuff out, like work it through with your team, because at the end of the day, you're going to come up with something that's a lot more than you thought it would be. And it actually works quite well. So slow down, figure it out, and do it from there. So that's all I got today. As always, I'm super appreciative of you guys watching this channel. It's a very small channel right now, and I don't got a lot of people watching, and I appreciate the individuals that are actually taking the time to do so. So please leave some comments below, and some things that you face in your job site, some challenges you have, and maybe we can help you with those logistics as well. So Google Earth is a great resource for that, to kind of put everything down on a map, screenshot it, and then draw it out and figure out, where you're going to put your dumpster, where you're going to do this. And we do that with owners a lot too. When we're bidding a job, we're like, hey, just so you know, this is our game plan of what we're going to do. And it kind of just gives them that you're thinking further than just the drawings, and like, yeah, we'll build the house, we can do that. But like, here's where we're going to park the cars. Here's where we're going to put the dumpster. Here's where we're going to crane and stuff. Here's how we're going to store lumber. Like, those are the things that the owner is like, wow, these guys are really thinking through the process. So there's multiple ways to use this kind of, pre-planning or current planning type situation. So once again, I appreciate you guys. I can't thank you enough. Go over to davidwindsor.com, get your free downloadable templates, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.